All right, let's move on to our reviews. First one, this is actually going to be the first group review we've done in a while. We went and saw the new Hobbit movie, The Desolation of Smaug, or Smaug as they call him
Smaug.
in the movies.
Every time they say Smaug, I feel like Cartman saying smog.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh.
So what did you guys think?
Much better than the first Hobbit.
Agreed?
Yes. Well paced. Better paced
Yeah.
than the first one. The first one I felt like going out and ripping my skin off.
There's a lot of walking in the first one. There was a lot of walking in this one too, but
There's more running this time.
There was always something going on,
Yeah.
which was good.
I mean, Legolas has always been my favorite character in the movies, and I feel like they did the elves pretty good justice in this one.
Because he's boylicious.
I mean, that jawline, dude.
Uh-huh. You just get lost in his eyes.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Forget about me.
Maybe.
What's funny is when Legolas first showed up on screen, I was sitting next to Zach and I nudged him and he looked over at me and I said, "It's Will Turner."
And then in my head, I was trying to process who the heck Will Turner was. I was like, that's clearly Orlando Bloom up there. So I don't know what he's talking about. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, all the fight scenes involving the elves, in my opinion, really helped that movie.
Yeah.
Because there was some badass things they did.
Uh-huh.
Much more interesting fight scenes than
Than in the Lord of the Rings movie, in my opinion.
yeah. Of course, they did pay homage to that one scene where, it's one of his most famous fight scenes with Legolas, where he uses the shield to kind of surf down the steps, and they kind of did that again. Yeah. But he used an orc this time to surf, which was sick.
Well, it always seemed like in the original trilogy, the fight scenes with the elves were always a highlight.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, I don't know, it seems out of place, or the elves are just really freaking amazing. It takes one elf to kill half of mob of orcs or whatever.
I kind of saw it as you saw how the orcs, though, they absolutely destroyed the elves before Tauriel and Legolas got there.
Yeah.
So them two are the much more skilled.
Yeah. She's the
archers.
The captain of the guard.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of them adding her into the movie? Because she was never in the book.
Yeah.
I was totally fine with it. I thought
Actually, I was too. I didn't think. I thought it added to it a little bit. It was much more than what they added in the first one.
Yeah. And of course, my personal highlight was seeing Smaug on the big screen because he's my favorite Lord of the Rings character.
Spoiler alert, if you're really excited to hear Benedict Cumberbatch, you're going to be disappointed.
I swear they changed up his voice from the trailer.
Because you could tell it was him in the trailer.
Yeah,
but
in the movie you couldn't.
It still was good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the voice acting was good, but...
I was worried that it was going to look cheesy with him being a talking dragon, but it was good.
They made it realistic, but still a little bit scary.
And my favorite part from the Hobbit book was the dialogue between him and Bilbo Baggins. And it was like I was reading the book when that scene was going on, and I thought it was really well done.
Barrel Rider.
What's cool is Benedict Cumberbatch actually did the motion capture for Smaug too. Yeah.
How do you even motion capture a dragon?
Well, he actually studied the movements of Komodo dragons and other kind of lizards.
The whole time. He's just like,
well, he was moving around the sides of the castle walls and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's such a long movement for a human to make, though. I don't understand how that translates.
I'm sure it'll be on the DVD. I'm excited to see that and see how it was done.
The 7-hour special features Blu-ray.
The 8-hour extended edition.
The one thing that I have to complain about the movie, and I want to know if you guys caught it as well, when they're doing the scene when they're riding through the rapids in the barrels, did you notice how every now and then it would cut to a shot of a camera that was just floating down the thing?
Yeah.
And it was clearly much lower quality than one of those high-tech cameras.
Yeah.
It's literally like they put a GoPro on a barrel and sent it down.
It was like a point of view thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I did notice
It
that.
did not transition well at all
No.
to the high tech IMAX cameras. Or not IMAX, but
GoPros
3D.
are not for everyone.
Yeah,
Which I'm not saying they use the GoPro.
but that's
I'm
what it
just saying-
looked like.
Yeah.
It was very jarring to see that. Like, that was strange to me.
Did you guys think the whole barrel scene was kind of cheesy?
Not really. I kind of enjoyed it.
Because a lot of people online were complaining about it, like saying, I guess, you know how some people hate the quote-unquote conveniently placed item?
Or
That's what they were calling it.
it was that, and it was... The entire scene was a little bit over the top. Like, especially when
it's a fantasy genre.
Exactly. But like, especially when the fat dwarf is in the barrel and he takes out like 85 dudes in a sequence.
That was badass.
Yeah, but I felt like that may have drug on a little bit long for comedic relief.
True.
Well,
But it was still hilarious.
look at the first one. They did the same thing in the Goblin King lair. In the first Hobbit, when they're
Yeah.
fighting all the goblins, they
Yeah.
had a bunch of stuff like that. So it didn't feel out of place to me.
I didn't... Actually, that was probably my favorite scene, was that. The way that the dwarves were still able to
Fight in
fight
the
as a
water.
unit
yeah.
and help each other out, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
The Elven King. I wanted to just kill him.
Yeah, he was kind of a douche.
Yeah, he's a big old sack of it.
Whoever acted it did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have any complaints about the acting
No.
in the movie. I thought everyone did a good job. The one thing I will say on more of a personal tip, if you go to a big name movie, get to the theater early.
We sat in the second row and my
At
neck still
IMAX.
hurts.
The IMAX, and it was horrible.
Not only were we in just the second row, we were in the second row like all the way to the left.
Yeah.
Did it seem most of the time the movie was out of focus to
Yeah.
y'all?
Well, the top right corner most of the time was.
Well, I'm talking about like a lot of it didn't focus until a couple frames into the scene. Like it was, to me, it was bad about that.
It, it might have been where we were sitting, too.
Yeah, it definitely could have been that. But in previous experience with IMAX, when I watched the first Hobbit, it did the same thing. So it might be just IMAX.
It may just be our theater too. You know.
Yeah, it could be.
The CG felt a little bit lazy at times, like if you were actually paying attention to it.
Especially when Bilbo went up above and like the butterflies were going around.
Yeah.
It looked
Yeah,
so
that-
freaking fake.
That was a little too over the top.
And there's the one time when they reach the Mirkwood Forest or whatever, like when it's showing them the scene and it has the horses, like the horses look like they're floating, like they're not even touching the ground.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's moments like that, but I guess you kind of have to expect that when it's a, almost, how long was it? 3 hours?
Yeah, right under 3 hours.
A 3 hour movie is going to have some moments in it where the CG could have been
Some
better.
crap that should not be.
Overall, though, it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I think
I feel like
three-
all of the complaints that we have are probably just nitpicking.
Yeah. Definitely go see it. It's very good. Much better than... I still think the first one was good, but the second one's much better. And if you hate cliffhangers, you're going to hate the ending of this movie.
Exactly.
But it was a good cliffhanger.
When it ends, they're all hanging on a cliff.
Yep.
Going, oh no.
It's a literal
no.
cliffhanger.
It's Smaug. Oh no. Nom nom.